Horoscope predictions.
Aries.
Today, Aries, you may feel like the pace of your life is shifting gears, and not in the subtle way you sometimes expect, but in a direct, almost unavoidable push. The day carries themes of responsibility and choices, especially around your work or routines. If you've been delaying a decision about how to handle a task, a project, or even an agreement with another person, you might notice the pressure to take action becoming louder. It's not about rushing headfirst the way you normally do, it's about learning the value of pacing yourself, choosing which battles are worth fighting, and recognizing when to pause before jumping in. Conversations with others today may seem more serious, yet these talks bring clarity about what needs to shift. The more you ground yourself in honesty and patience, the less likely you'll feel that restless edge that comes when your fire energy wants everything right now. On the personal side, you might find yourself thinking about how to balance independence with the support you allow from others. Family or close friends could be a mirror, showing you the places where you've been carrying too much alone, or, on the other hand, trying to control what isn't fully yours to fix. Your instinct is to lead, to push forward, but today's energy invites you to test your resilience in quieter, steadier ways. Focus on organizing your day, adjusting your priorities, and protecting your energy instead of spreading yourself too thin. Even a simple change like tackling one overdue task, setting a new boundary, or carving out time for your own needs could have a ripple effect that brings more stability into your week. Your lucky colors are green, silver, and black, and your lucky numbers are 2, 11, and 30.
Taurus.
Taurus. The energy of this day places a spotlight on how you're building your future, and it's less about dreaming and more about practical action. This is the kind of day where you're reminded that the steady, deliberate steps you take are far more valuable than a sudden leap. You might feel more aware of your finances, your personal stability, or the type of security you crave in your daily life. That awareness could come from noticing where something feels out of balance, such as spending habits that don't match your long-term goals or routines that leave you drained rather than supported. The good news is that you don't need to overhaul everything at once. Today encourages patience and strategy, helping you see that success is not about speed, but about laying the foundation brick by brick. Even the conversations you have now, whether with a colleague, a partner, or someone you trust, may reveal small but powerful ideas about how to adjust and move forward. On an emotional level, you may feel more reflective than usual, perhaps questioning whether certain commitments, relationships, or habits truly align with who you are becoming. This kind of reflection doesn't have to be heavy. In fact, it can be grounding, reminding you that you have the power to refine your life in ways that feel both sustainable and rewarding. Be mindful of resisting change just for the sake of comfort. Sometimes what feels unfamiliar at first is exactly what helps you grow into greater strength and stability. Carving out a quiet moment for yourself, whether through cooking a comforting meal, tending to something in your home, or simply sitting in stillness, can give you the clarity you're looking for. Today, trust the process and remind yourself that progress may not always be flashy, but it is steady. Your lucky colors are brown, red, and cream, and your lucky numbers are 4, 16, and 22.
Gemini.
Gemini today highlights your need to bring structure to the moving pieces in your life. And it may feel like the universe is nudging you to focus on follow-through rather than chasing the next idea. Your natural energy thrives on variety, but the demands of this day ask you to slow down and give weight to details, whether it's paperwork, errands, or conversations that need closure. You'll find that clarity arrives when you stop juggling and commit to finishing what's already on your plate. This can feel frustrating at first, but the reward is real. You get to see your plans actually take shape rather than float in the air as what-ifs. At work or in personal projects, you might discover a missing piece of information or advice from someone that helps you complete something that's been hanging unresolved for too long. In your personal life, there could be a sense of tension between your desire to stay flexible and the reality of having responsibilities that require consistency. A friend or family member may come forward with a request for your time or energy, and your first instinct might be to retreat, but leaning into these commitments will ultimately strengthen your connections. Today also invites you to rethink how you're communicating. Are you scattering your words, or are you being intentional with them? Even one honest conversation can shift the dynamics in your relationships. By evening, you might feel the satisfaction of tying up loose ends, and that mental relief will bring you more energy for the rest of the week. Your lucky colors are blue, ivory, and gray, and your lucky numbers are 5, 19, and 28.
Cancer.
Cancer, the rhythm of today asks you to pay attention to balance between caring for others and caring for yourself, between pushing forward and pausing to rest. You may notice a heavier focus on family, home life, or personal matters that you usually keep in the background while handling your daily grind. This is a good time to look at the structures you've built around your comfort zones. Maybe there are responsibilities piling up in your home, or emotions you've put off addressing. And now they're demanding acknowledgement. It's not about solving everything all at once, but about facing what's in front of you with steadiness. You might even feel the urge to reorganize your environment, clearing clutter, fixing something small, or simply creating a calmer space that supports your emotional well-being. Those simple actions today can shift your mindset in bigger ways than you realize. On the relationship front, you could feel more sensitive to the moods of those around you, and that heightened awareness might make you want to retreat. Yet, this is also a day where meaningful conversations can unfold if you're willing to let others see your perspective, not just your protective shell. There may be themes of responsibility in partnerships, questions of who carries what weight, and whether things feel balanced or lopsided. The key is to communicate without slipping into old patterns of silence or avoidance. By choosing to engage rather than withdraw, you open the door to more understanding and support. Even if the conversations are serious, they can lay the groundwork for stronger trust. By nightfall, you may feel more grounded, knowing you've taken steps, however small, toward stability in both your personal world and your relationships. Your lucky colors are teal, gold, and white, and your lucky numbers are 7, 15, and 24.
Leo.
Leo, today brings an emphasis on responsibility and how you're being seen by others, both in your professional life and in your personal roles. You may notice situations where you're asked to step up, either to take the lead on a task, to offer your opinion, or to handle something that others are avoiding. Your natural instinct is to shine. But this energy isn't about performance or applause, it's about the respect you build when you follow through and prove dependable. At work or in any goal you've been pursuing, there could be opportunities to demonstrate not just creativity, but consistency. If you've been feeling overlooked, today's events may push you into the spotlight in a way that reminds others of your strengths. Still, the key is not to force recognition, but to let your actions speak louder than your words. In your personal life, you may be reflecting on whether you've been giving too much of your energy to external obligations at the expense of your own needs. Someone close might challenge you to rethink how you manage your time, or you might simply notice the fatigue that comes from carrying too much at once. This isn't a signal to withdraw, but rather a chance to practice. Balance knowing when to stand tall for others and when to step back for yourself. Small adjustments, like saying no to an unnecessary demand or carving out a moment of genuine rest, can strengthen your foundation. Today's rhythm encourages you to honor the weight of responsibility, but also to remember that you're not meant to carry it all alone. Your lucky colors are black, yellow, and beige, and your lucky numbers are 6, 14, and 27.
Virgo.
Virgo, the flow of this day leans heavily on clarity, structure, and follow-through, areas where your natural skills often shine. Yet, the challenge isn't about doing more. It's about making sure your efforts are actually aligned with where you want to go. You might find yourself caught between details that feel pressing and the bigger picture that demands your attention. If you've been overthinking or worrying about small imperfections, today's energy encourages you to zoom out and take a broader, more practical approach. Work matters, planning, or financial concerns could be at the forefront, and you'll benefit from grounding yourself in facts rather than letting what-ifs run wild. A conversation with a colleague, partner, or friend may help you spot solutions you'd overlooked because you were focused too closely on the problem. On a personal note, you may feel pulled to examine how your routines are supporting or hindering your overall well-being. The temptation to micromanage or overcommit could leave you drained. But with conscious adjustments, you'll notice how much more smoothly things flow. It's a day to practice choosing progress over perfection, reminding yourself that getting something done with steady effort is better than waiting endlessly for the perfect timing or result. You may also find comfort in organizing your surroundings, cooking a balanced meal, or simply tending to a small but important task that has been weighing on your mind. By focusing on practical steps that bring order and stability, you'll create space for both relief and renewed motivation. Your lucky colors are green, white, and maroon, and your lucky numbers are 3, 12, and 25.
Libra.
Libra, today's energy asks you to step into decisions with more weight than usual, especially in areas connected to partnerships, work responsibilities, or long-term plans. You might feel a heightened awareness of how your choices affect not just you, but also the people around you. This can create some pressure, but it also gives you the chance to reclaim your sense of balance by setting priorities clearly. If you've been putting off a commitment or avoiding an uncomfortable conversation, the timing now points to addressing it directly. Whether this comes through a work matter that requires your signature, a family duty that needs your input, or even a financial decision that shapes your stability, the push is toward action grounded in fairness. By moving past indecision, you create relief, both mentally and emotionally. On a personal level, the themes of responsibility and reciprocity show up strongly. You may find yourself re-examining how balanced your relationships truly are, whether you're the one carrying too much weight or the one stepping back too often. The clarity of this day highlights both the strengths and the weak spots in your dynamics with others. A partner, friend, or colleague might offer insight that helps you see where adjustments are needed. The key is not to chase harmony at the cost of truth, but to anchor yourself in honesty and accountability. Even small shifts, like saying no when necessary or asking directly for what you need, can bring you closer to real equilibrium. By nightfall, you may notice the satisfaction that comes from dealing with matters head-on, instead of postponing them. Your lucky colors are silver, cream, and navy, and your lucky numbers are 8, 17, and 29.
Scorpio.
Scorpio, the rhythm of this day draws your focus toward responsibility, health, and how you manage your daily routines. You may feel more aware of what's working and what isn't in your schedule. And there could be a push to address small but important details you've been setting aside. Whether it's tying up loose ends at work, getting organized, or finally dealing with a personal task you've been avoiding, today's flow urges you to streamline and cut away what no longer serves you. At first, this can feel demanding, as though too many obligations are pressing at once. But the discipline you apply now pays off by freeing space and energy for what truly matters. If you're attentive to the details without letting them overwhelm you, you'll find yourself much more grounded by the end of the day. In your relationships and inner world, you might notice your patience being tested, especially if others don't seem to share your same drive for efficiency or depth. This can bring moments of frustration, but it's also a mirror, showing you how much energy you invest into control and how much lighter things feel when you allow some flexibility. Honest conversations about expectations could surface, and even though they may feel weighty, they can help prevent misunderstandings later on. You may also sense that your body and emotions are signaling the need for more balanced rest if you've been pushing too hard, or discipline if you've been letting important routines slide. By being attentive to both your inner needs and outer responsibilities, you create a more sustainable path forward. Your lucky colors are burgundy, gray, and gold, and your lucky numbers are 9, 21, and 32.
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, today may feel like a reminder that enthusiasm and vision are not enough without the discipline to follow through. You often prefer to look ahead, to expand, and to chase what's new. But this day pulls your attention back to the commitments already in motion. Work-related responsibilities, financial obligations, or promises made to others may rise to the surface, asking you to prove that you can handle not just the big picture, but also the finer details that sustain it. There's no need to feel boxed in. This is less about restriction and more about grounding your ideas into something tangible. You may also notice that others are looking to you for consistency, whether it's in a professional role or in your personal relationships. And this can be the push you need to settle into a more structured rhythm. In your personal life, the energy today also highlights how you balance freedom with responsibility. You may want to make plans, to explore, or to escape into something exciting. Yet you'll find greater satisfaction in facing the work in front of you before leaping forward. Conversations with loved ones might touch on stability, money, or even shared duties. And while these talks could feel serious, they give you the grounding needed to pursue your larger dreams without leaving loose ends behind. By the end of the day, you may feel a mix of relief and pride in the fact that you've handled something concrete instead of letting it linger. This builds the foundation that supports your natural desire for growth and adventure. Your lucky colors are brown, orange, and silver, and your lucky numbers are 5, 18, and 34.
Capricorn.
Capricorn, the energy surrounding this day speaks directly to your sense of responsibility. structure, and long-term vision. It may feel as though certain situations, whether related, family-based, or financial, are pressing you to clarify your next steps. This is not a time to avoid the hard work. Instead, it's an invitation to acknowledge that you already have the tools to handle it. People may naturally turn to you for guidance, advice, or stability today. And while this can feel like added weight, it also reminds you of the trust others place in your reliability. Your instinct might be to take on too much, to prove you can shoulder the load. But this day encourages you to balance leadership with delegation and to recognize that strength is not just in doing it all, but in doing it wisely. On a personal note, you might be reflecting on whether the structures you've built around your daily life are truly sustainable. This could mean noticing how your routines support or drain your energy, or realizing that certain responsibilities have become habits rather than meaningful commitments. A conversation with a friend, partner, or mentor could spark insight into how you can refine your direction. This is a good time to reassess not just what you're working toward, but why you're working toward it. By taking ownership of both your goals and your limits, you create a stronger, steadier foundation for yourself moving forward. Even a small adjustment, like saying no to something unnecessary or investing extra focus into a priority, can create lasting impact. Your lucky colors are navy, gold, and white, and your lucky numbers are 7, 20, and 31.
Aquarius.
Aquarius, today directs your attention toward the practical side of life, where responsibilities, plans, and commitments demand more focus than usual. While you often prefer to keep your energy invested in big ideas, new concepts, or future-oriented thinking, the present moment is asking you to engage with what's already on your plate. You may feel the weight of deadlines, work matters, or personal obligations that can't be brushed aside any longer. Rather than resisting, lean into the clarity that comes from organizing your time and energy. If you've been juggling multiple roles, this is the kind of day where prioritizing makes all the difference, deciding which tasks deserve immediate attention and which can wait. Even conversations with others may feel more serious, pointing to issues of responsibility, fairness, or long-term plans. In your personal life, you might notice that others are looking to you for stability or guidance, which can feel unusual if you're used to valuing independence above all. This doesn't have to mean losing your sense of freedom. Instead, it's about showing up in ways that strengthen trust and reliability within your relationships. It's also a good moment to reflect on whether your current routines are supporting the future you envision for yourself. The energy encourages you to bridge the gap between idealism and practicality, grounding your visions in real, sustainable action. By the end of the day, you could find satisfaction in knowing you've taken solid steps toward stability, even if they're small. Your lucky colors are gray, turquoise, and black, and your lucky numbers are 4, 19, and 27.
Pisces.
Pisces, the tone of today may feel more grounded than what you usually prefer, pulling you out of imagination and into responsibility. You may sense an increasing need to focus on work, health routines, or long-term stability. If you've been floating between tasks or allowing distractions to pull you away from what matters most, this is the kind of day that brings those gaps into sharper focus. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming, but it will require patience, discipline, and follow-through. The energy now favors practical action, so even something as simple as tidying up your space catching up on work, or setting a small financial plan could bring a sense of order and control. Instead of avoiding the heavier matters, use today as an opportunity to show yourself how capable you are when you ground your intentions. Emotionally, you may also be reflecting on boundaries, how much of your energy you give away, and how often you end up stretched thin. Loved ones or colleagues might expect more from you. And while your instinct is to help, the challenge lies in deciding where to draw the line. Having honest conversations about limits and responsibilities will bring more relief than quietly carrying frustrations. At the same time, taking ownership of your daily habits, whether related to health, rest, or commitments, can bring stability in ways that ripple into your emotional world. This isn't about losing your fluid, compassionate nature, but about making sure it's supported by strong foundations. By nightfall, you may feel steadier, knowing you've faced what needed attention instead of postponing it. Your lucky colors are blue, ivory, and burgundy, and your lucky numbers are 6, 14, and 30.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video for more daily star wisdom. Let me know your sign in the comments and how this day unfolds for you. I'll see you tomorrow for another celestial check-in. Thank you so much for watching.